When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hey guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. While flying through space, Deku notice someone's trying to contact him mentally, and there's only one person that does that. It's been quite some time, son. I have gathered enough strength just to contact you for a moment or two. How's things on your end, dear? Everything's been going on fine, on my end. I've been learning a lot about the galaxy and the life forms that fill it. Earth is still intact. I prevent an alien invasion when I first arrive on Earth. I encountered a few of the Earth protectors. Right now I've been entertaining myself with all the different lantern corps. I also made contact with Darkseid on Apocalypse when I was in the neighborhood. Just be careful, son. That man is no pushover. Duly noted, mother. I know you're having fun here, but don't forget about the other side of the Source Wall. You'll be surprised what you find on the other side. I'll contact you once again, once I have the necessary strength to do so. As mother and son break off their mental link, the other side of the Source Wall, you say? I'll have to check that out once I'm done playing with the yellow lanterns. Deku immediately speed his pace, flying through space, heading directly towards the Milky Way galaxy. He could easily teleport to the Milky Way galaxy, but Deku doesn't find any fun in that. It'll be too easy. He might have the ability of teleportation, but he doesn't abuse the power. It would make things too boring for him. Master, there is a large structure with multiple life signatures dead ahead. Let's ignore it for now, Void. Scratch that, Void. I sense something's amiss. There's something flying out of the huge mechanical planet. I swear that thing looks really familiar. I just can't recall. Oh, now I remember. War World, controlled by a warlord named Mongol. He most likely sent out scouts when they noticed me when I got into their range of their sensors, most likely. Impressive. They're even able to detect me while I'm invisible. Remaining my invisibility is pointless, and I highly doubt Mongol will allow me to pass through without interfering. We might as well get this over with. Who knows? Void. We might get a good fight out of this. The yellow lanterns isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Even if they do, it won't take as long to track them down. Once you know what to look for when you're searching for lanterns, every core has the specific energy signal that emanates from their power rings. It's an easy enough task. for me to do so. As we change the scene, as you can see Mongol sitting on a very high-tech throne that controls Warworld. As long as Mongol is connected to the throne, he has complete control over Warworlds and its many defenses and offensive weaponry, including non-pilot fighters, that he has complete control over by a mere thought. How long do we have till we approach Earth in the Milky Way galaxy? Lord Mongol, we should be arriving in this Milky Way galaxy only in a few hours. Once we arrive in the Milky Way galaxy, after that, it's only take an hour or two. We have already cut our travel by half by using that new technology you had installed on the Warworld. We have used the artificial wormhole technology that you acquired from that world you conquered. It has made traveling to our destination much more easier, sir. I am pleased to hear that the technology is working just fine. I will have my revenge from that Kryptonian embarrass me like he did the last time we clashed. I will eradicate his planet. What's the status on the other thing we've noticed on our sensors? The unknown craft or life form is fast approaching, sir. What are your orders? Do nothing for now. I'll be sending out several of my fighters. Intercept whoever's coming our way. Then I'll have a better idea of what I'll do moving forward. What I'll do by moving forward. As you know, I have a cyclically linked to the fighters. What they see, I see. Meanwhile, Deku could see several fighters flying through space, heading towards his direction with incredible speed. As you can see the humongous structure right behind the fighters, that it looks like a metal planet. He still has some time to fly to get to it, but he can see it in the distance. It's clearly huge in structure. Deku shot out of a beam of energy from his palm once the fighter got into his firing range, and blasted several of the fighters with energy beams of green and purple, like Spiral, as he instantly destroyed one fighter after another. He continued to shoot beams of energy out of his palms of his hands, while continuing to fly forward without even stopping, as several more fighters came flying in, trying to block his path. He simply shot beams of energy at them, destroying them, finally getting to Warworld. As he stopped his movement, now he's just floating and gazing at the huge structure. Interesting, it seems like my fighters didn't stand a chance. They were all shot down. At least I know somewhat of what I'm dealing with, whoever this kid is. It's clearly he could breathe in space, in outer space, and has some sort of energy manipulation. Interesting. Ah, there you are. I have a job for you. As the door opened up to revealing gray-skinned man with spiky black hair, eating a huge cooked animal leg that looks like quite similar to a chicken leg, just doubled in size, walk into the room, revealing to be Lobo. I take it the Boy Scout caught word of your scheme? No, it's not the Kryptonian this time. It's someone else. You know my contract we signed. I am to help you take down the Boy Scout. Whoever this kid is, as Lobo stared at the monitor, that's not part of our deal. It wasn't in the contract. If you want me to take care of this brat, it's going to cost you extra. And the price is quite steep. And whatever, I'll double or triple your pay. Just take care of it. Now we're talking, boss man. Just get out of here and take care of it. As you command, my liege. As Lobo gave Mongol a mocking bow, and immediately finished up eating his animal leg and tossed the bone to one of the minions of Mongol that's in the room. You can dispose of that for me. As he put a cigar in his mouth and lit it, Lobo left the main command room of Warworld and made his way to the docking area where his Space Hog is located. It's a futuristic looking motorcycle. He got on his Space Hog and blew out some smoke from his mouth from inhaling some of the cigar smoke, and stomped it on his foot, or dropped it to the ground and stomped it, and immediately revved the engine of the vehicle and immediately took off to fly towards the kid that he has to have fun with. Before Deku could charge up a beam of energy to shoot down the huge structure, Deku noticed something flying out of Warworld. A man with gray skin, with black spiky hair, that is dressed like a biker from Earth, riding some sort of very advanced alien motorcycle. He noticed the figure immediately stopped in front of him. And you are? Name's Lobo, kid. Sorry about this, but it's just business. I'm gonna have to take you out. Hope you're strong, kid, because it's gonna be too boring otherwise. So you're working with this Mongol, are you? Working for him is such a strong word. I'm currently employed by him, by contract, of course. And he's paying double for me to take you down, kid. Just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Was looking for a fight regardless. Let's do this some more comfortable. After all, we can't have a proper dance out in outer space, can we? I might be able to fly, but I highly doubt you can. You're not wrong there, kid. I know a planet that will fit the bill real nice. It is the desert planet. Would be perfect for our battle. Follow me and try to keep up, as Lobo flew off with his hog, while Deku gave chase. When Deku finally entered the planet atmosphere, Lobo was right below him. Lobo was right. It is a completely desert world. Deku landed on the surface of the planet, while Lobo parked his vehicle to the side and stepped off his Space Hog with a cigar in his mouth and proceeded to inhale then exhale the smoke out of his mouth, then walk towards Deku. Let's get this party started. What's your name, kid? So I know what to put on your tombstone. They call me Deku, Lobo. Because I dig your look, kid. Deku. I'll give you the first strike, as Lobo extended his chin out for Deku to hit him. Give me your best shot, sport. Deku was a bit irritated by the cockiness of this Lobo, but he had no intention of using his full strength. But he's going to use much more strength than he has done prior, since he's awoken in his third evolution, and disappeared, making by using a flash step, and reappeared right in front of Lobo. It's a powerful right hook. Suddenly there was a small wind pressure was created, followed with a bang noise as Lobo was shot off backwards like a rocket, skidding across the sand. Lobo finally stopped, as Lobo is laying on his back, staring at the blazing sun that has, well, the planet has 3 suns that circle around the planet 24/7. There is not a night cycle on this planet. I'll be damned, the kid has a mean right hook. This is going to be a lot more fun than I originally thought. He's definitely no Superman, but he's the next best thing. As Lobo hopped to his feet, as he made his way back to Deku, with a vicious smirk on his face. Not bad, kid. Now let's see you handle a moving target. Lobo rushed forward by throwing a right hook that Deku blocked, but Lobo went into a spin, landing the back of his fist across Deku's face, then proceed to grab Deku by the shoulders with both of his hands, and proceed to headbutt the kid in the face, then knee him in the stomach, then land a right hook across Deku's face, making Deku go flying backwards, skidding across the sand. Deku maneuvered his body and skid to a stop in a single fluid motion, and charged forward, throwing strikes and kicks at Lobo. Lobo would do the same, as they both begin to exchange blows, one after another. Made a solid hit on each other. You could hear loud bang noise from the impact and gusts of wind being created. As their fight intensifies, so does the sounds of battle. Lobo dodged a spinning kick by ducking under Deku's leg, then grabbing Deku by the face, then running along, dragging his head into the sand. Then Lobo grabbed Deku by the arm and threw him across the desert. As Deku goes skidding across the sand, hitting several rock formations that scattered all around the desert planet. It's a mixture between sand and mountains, rocks and all that. When Deku finally stopped moving, he immediately had to roll out of the way as a airborne Lobo came crashing down, as his fists hit the sand where Deku was prior, before he rolled out of the way. As the ground shook from the impact, Deku used this chance to kick Lobo on the side of the head, making him step backwards a few steps. Deku got nice and close and landed several powerful strikes in Lobo's face, into the stomach, then proceed to aim spots on Lobo's upper chest repeatedly and swiftly, while dodging Lobo's attempt to strike him back. Deku grabbed Lobo's wrists and threw him over his shoulder, slamming Lobo to the sand ground, then used his opposite hand to shoot a green and purple spiral energy shot at the down Lobo, When the energy blast receded, before the sand dust could be cleared, Deku jumped backwards to get some much needed distance. Deku can feel he's nowhere near the end of this fight. It was better to think that level attack could take out his opponent. The fact that this guy could take his hits as well as he has been is a credit to his durability. He might not be as powerful as a new god when it comes to physical strength, but he's nowhere weak when it comes to his strength. But the dangerous thing about him is his durability. As a dust cloud finally cleared, revealing a undamaged Lobo, dusted himself off, laughing while he do so with a panic smile on his face. My blood's pumping, kid. This is my kind of fight. Consider me impressed that you were able to keep up with me, kid. After all, I'm quite durable, as you saw. I'm pretty much immortal, kid. Not even hell and heaven will take me. I've been kicked out of both. Mortal, you say, Lobo, as Deku has a grin of his own. Let's test that theory, shall we? Hope you survive. Deku extended his palm forward, facing Lobo, as a swirl of energy begins to form in the palm of his hand, then immediately shot out with incredible speed, hitting Lobo in the chest as he was engulfed from the beam of energy. When the light faded, you could see Lobo healing from his injuries. Not bad. I felt that. But you shouldn't have done that, kid. You just made this a lot more tougher for you. Blood that was dripping from Lobo on the sand is slowly drying, forming into a direct copy of Lobos, as two extra clones of Lobo came into creation. Just in case you're curious, kid, I can make clones of myself from a single drop of my blood. Now boys, let's get him. All three Lobos surround Deku on all sides. You're a very interesting creature, Lobo. I guess I could take off the kid gloves. Suddenly, all three Lobos were forced down to the ground by the unknown force as Deku begins to emanate purple and green energy from his body, and an unknown pressure that was pinning them to the ground. Lobo has never felt a pressure like this before. Behold, this is me at 100% in this form. Two green chains pop out of the shadows of two of the clones, and piercing right through them, churning them to ash. You can't regenerate if I don't spill any blood. But no need to fret, as the chains begin to move around Deku like it had a mind of his own. I won't be using these on you, Lobo. It would be too easy. After all, it would be a waste. First person that I fought has pushed me to this point. You're not as strong as the Kryptonian, but your durability and regeneration is clearly off the charts. Now let's see how far I could take your regeneration. If you make a couple clones of yourself on the way, more the merrier, I say. Hope you have a weapon, Lobo, because you're gonna need one. As void energy begins to swirl around Deku's hand, forming into void. That scythe looks extremely ominous and dangerous, and sharp. As Lobo bit his finger, made more copies of himself, and ran back to his space hog, as he's throwing different type of weapons out of his storage, trying to find the weapon he's looking for, as he picked up a hunting knife. Not a sword, but it's good enough. About time Lobo turned his attention back to Deku. All of his clones that he just made are turned into ash, as he could see green chains piercing their chests, like he did to his prior clones he created. As Void is contacting Deku mentally, Master, I'm a bit confused. Why did you tell that creature that you're at 100% of your power? I could tell you're only using 50%. Didn't need to know that. That I'm not using 100% of my power. That would be clearly overkill. Deku broke their mental link and got into a stance with Void in his hands, seeing the approaching Lobo while holding a huge hunting knife in his right hand. Deku immediately stepped and swung a strong strike vertically. Lobo maneuvered his body to completely dodge the swing and got close enough to start throwing slashes, one after another, of his own with his hunting knife. Deku simply blocked each attempt with Void quite easily. With each weapon collision with each other, they proceed to make sparks from the two weapons grinding against each other, as the progress of the weapon battle, or the battle in general, slowly increased in speed until Lobo had a little more difficult time trying to keep up with the high speed movement of Deku. Deku noticed that and swung Void downwards, cutting right through Lobo's hunting knife and piercing his chest, leaving a slash mark. Afterwards, Deku dismissed Void and cocked his hand backwards, throwing a devastating punch into Lobo's stomach, lifting him up in the air a couple inches, then slamming his left fist into a right hook across Lobo's face, making him rocket off like a rocket, smashing into several rock formations that scattered all around the desert planet. Deku extended his right hand with his palm extended forward, as Lobo suddenly came back flying towards Deku by using his telekinesis. When Lobo got into striking range, Deku slammed his fist downwards, hitting Lobo on top of the head, making him hit the sand surface on the ground, making a small earthquake from the impact. When Deku struck Lobo, from the impact, Deku struck Lobo so hard that the sand even parted from the area, making a good-sized crater underneath them. As you can see, Deku and Lobo are in a small crater that Deku just made. Deku simply kicked Lobo on the side of the body as he went skidding across the sand outside of the crater, while Deku hovered up and gently land on the surface of the sand outside of the crater, just outside the crater. When Lobo was trying to get to his feet, he saw a strange green crystal materialize right in front of him. As his eyes widened, as he noticed the crystal was charging up some sort of energy, then immediately shot out a beam of energy, which shot out and towards Lobo. He barely got it away, as his left arm was completely gone. It was completely eradicated. As several more green crystal and purple crystals appear all around Lobo, floating in the air, as all of the crystals begin to charge up and shoot out beams of similar beams of energy, but a bit more smaller. Lobo did the smart thing and tried to dodge out of the way of the beams of energy, and he was right to do so. They might be small, but that doesn't mean they're weak by any means, as they would make each beam of energy that hit the sand made a small crater. Lobo immediately was forced to run and dodge out of the way of beams of energy increasing in the succession. The speed of it's being fired out upon Lobo has been increasing by the floating crystals of doom, as Lobo referenced as he's dodging. Lobo did notice a smirk on Deku's face, like it was all part of his plan. A bit irritating for Lobo, but Lobo's having a fun. But Lobo's having a blast regardless. On for about an hour or two, as you can see a heavily breathing Lobo with several bruises and cuts all scattered around his body. His left eye is completely shut, as all the crystals in the air shatter all at once, as Lobo is finally given some breathing room to start recover, as he's first thing he did was regenerate his left arm back. After that, he slowly regenerated all the cuts and bruises all over his body. It's taking longer than expected, but he's slowly getting back to 100%. Deku did not move from his position. He simply just waved his hand like he's summoning something, as several purple and green spiral energy orbs were created in front of him. Deku's smirk turned into a devilish grin as Deku hit the first energy orb with a spinning kick as it shoots off towards Lobo. Lobo barely rolled out of the way. Deku shot another energy orb by punching it as soon as Lobo dodged the first orb, only for several more orbs to follow the second orb he just launched at his opponent. Lobo didn't have enough time to dodge all of the orbs that were shooting towards his direction, as he crossed his arms against his chest, ready to tank the energy orbs that are flying towards him, until he was engulfed in a bright light of purple and green, like spiral. The wind picked up the moment the explosion went off, as a humongous dust cloud can be seen when the light faded away. Once the dust cloud finally cleared, you could see the man has a massive grin on his face, really showing he's having a time of his life, even though he's getting his ass kicked. I haven't had a fight like this in years. You're far more fun to fight than that Boy Scout Superman. Not only you're strong, you're quite durable as well, and you have very strange abilities. And I have no doubt you haven't showed everything in your arsenal. Unfortunately for me, I'm drawing on empty here, kid. I'm gonna take a nap. As Lobo falls onto his back, breathing heavy as he begins to snore, as he's completely passed out. Deku was surprised, but he paid it no mind, and immediately took off towards War World. It was flying pretty fast through space when Lobo showed up, so it's going to take him some time to catch up. He finally caught up with with Warworld after flying for about 20 minutes. He just noticed the Warworld is finally entering the Milky Way galaxy. He flew right into the structure, smashing his way in. As he skid to a stop, while there's different aliens that was inside the room he just flew into, as the hull is beginning to suck people into outer space, Deku simply walked out of the room. A second later, the room sealed itself off, leaving the aliens that were inside to their own fate. Every alien in that room can't breathe in outer space, so they're pretty much dead regardless. And Deku didn't care. Deku noticed he walked into a big hallway with several metal shut doors scattered on both sides of the hallway. The hallway split off in a fork, one leading to the right, one leading to the left. In the middle of the hallway, there's a monitor that flickered on to reveal Mongol on his little throne. See, Lobo failed. If you got past Lobo, then you're no weakling. Who are you, boy? And what business do you have here? Name's Deku, Mongol. So you heard of me, as Mongol has a smirk on his face. I read a little bit about you. The Green Lantern have quite a record on you, Mongol. See, so you have some sort of allegiance with those glorified space cops. Far from it, Mongol. I was just in the neighborhood and I took a peek at all the information they have gathered over the years. But for your other question, you came after me first. I was going to ignore you and go about my day. I was hoping to do that after I dealt with Lobo, but considering we just entered the Milky Way galaxy, I'm guessing you're after Earth. And your attention towards the planet is most likely not friendly. So I'm going to have to involve myself in this, unfortunately. You are trespassing under my territory. The Milky Way galaxy and every other planet that's in that galaxy is under my protection. Pretty arrogant, kid, but that's not going to happen. I had to have my vengeance upon that Kryptonian. No one makes a fool of me in such a way. Lives. That's what you're after. You got your ass kicked by the Superman fellow. It would be sad if it wasn't so hilarious. Deku immediately cocked his head backwards and started laughing at Muggles. Muggles? He clearly is offending Mongol by the twitches of his expression. But he's not taking being mocked too kindly by some random kid that showed up out of nowhere and beat up Lobo. He was paying a lot of money to do so. Mongol clearly wants to kill the kid, but he kept himself composed. He knows what the brat's trying to do, trying to get under his skin. Are you done now, Deku? I am. I haven't had a good laugh like that in a while. So how you want to do this? We're going to fight. There's no way around it. I would be lying if I wasn't looking forward to this. You're quite powerful, and the simple fact that you have some sort of history with the Kryptonian proves that your worthiness as a warrior is duly earned. Mongol, the ruler of Warworld, the conqueror of planets, I challenge you to a one-on-one duel. If you refuse, Mongol, I will destroy this Warworld of yours. Balls in your court, old man. Mongol's annoyed face immediately turned into a smirk. when those words left the kid's lips. You're gonna regret that decision, boy. Follow the pathway to the right. That will lead you to a proper place. That will be able to withstand our fight. The monitor shut off. Deku followed the right pathway, leading him to an artificial vast forest mountain area, like they're outside on a planet. They even have an artificial sun. It's quite amazing. It's quite amazing, isn't it? You'll be amazed what you do is the right technology. Don't worry, you could let loose. In this place this place has been reinforced to withstand powerful battles. This is my personal battle arena. War World has the similar terrain scattered all around War World. Mongol got into his fighting stance with his one-handed battle axe in his hand. When Deku noticed that, he summoned Void in his right hand and got into his own weapon stance. The stance Deku is using looks more of a assassin stance with a scythe than an actual martial arts stance, for a fast-paced slashing to hit vital points in the human body, for basically a one-hit kill. Flash stepped and disappeared, then reappeared to Mongol's right and swung Void, ready to chop the alien in half, only for Mongol to spin around and block Void with the flat end of his battle axe, then push the blade away from him and charge forward by swinging his weapon towards Deku. Deku spun around and blocked the battle axe coming down upon him, then instantly slash at Mongol's stomach, only for Mongol to hop backwards, then immediately charge forward by swinging his axe, only for Deku to block that attempt as well, as they both circle around each other without breaking eye contact. I want to make sure I heard you right. Your name's Deku, is it, young warrior? That's what I go by. Tell you're quite skilled with that scythe of yours. Not a very easy weapon to wield and master. I am self-taught. You're not too shabby with that one-handed battle axe of yours. It comes with experience, Deku. It's a shame, really, that we met on unfavorable circumstances. Normally, I would hire such skills, but you're standing in my way of my vengeance against that Kryptonian freak. The feeling is mutual, but I can't allow you to wage war on Earth, nor can I allow that Kryptonian to die. That Kryptonian will die one day, but that day is not today. He has a role to play, and so do you. I believe it's time we continue our little dance. Mongol only nodded in acknowledgement and charged forward, as sparks begin to fly from their weapons colliding with each other, with each clash. Scythe would meet battle axe, as the battle axe begins to crack little by little bit until the blade shattered, forcing Mongol to hop backwards, and throw the broken weapon to the side. Seeing this, Deku dissipated Void from his hand, as they both rush at each other, as they both threw out a powerful punch. When their fists collided with each other, a huge shockwave was created, as a gust of wind was created by the shockwave from their fists colliding with each other, followed up with a big bang noise. Mongol grabbed onto his wrist, then pulled Deku forward, ramming his knee into Deku's stomach. The Mongol proceeds to land a uppercut underneath Deku's chin, making Deku airborne. Deku easily recovered while in midair, went into a flip and landed on his feet, then immediately charged forward. Unlike Lobo, Mongol has the necessary strength to make him a very powerful opponent. Only reason Lobo was a tough opponent to fight was because of his regeneration, durability, and able to make clones. But Mongol has his own impressive durability of his own. Deku leaped over Mongol in a flip, and in mid-flip, he kicked Mongol in the side of the head as Mongol went sliding backwards. The moment Deku landed on the ground, he turned around and charged once again, landing a right hook into Mongol's face. Mongol tanked the hit, then proceeded to headbutt Deku in the face. Deku leaped backwards to get some distance and wipe the blood from his face. This is the very first time he sees blood from a fight. Because Deku's only in his third evolution, he's still vulnerable to a certain point. Mongol uses brief chant from his opponent being unaware of the shock that he's seen his blood for the very first time. Shot an array of energy from his chest plate, that's in his chest, and hit Deku as he went flying. When Deku finally stopped moving and got to his feet, he shot out a beam of energy of his own that hit Mongol straight on as he went sent flying. Deku misjudged his power outage on his blast as Mongol was blasted out of War World, slamming into the moon. Deku immediately opened up a rift and walked through. Deku opened up a rift that looks like shattered glass and stepped through it, then reappeared on the surface of the moon, gazing upon Earth. Right next to Mongol that's struggling to get to his feet. I'm looking at Earth. It's quite a beautiful world. Unfortunately, it's infested with parasites. But there are some decent ones on that planet. What's going on? My body. I can barely move my limbs. You probably notice that you can't move your limbs as well as you could. It will pass in an hour or two. The energy I shot you with is very different than my normal. It has a very interesting effect. It paralyzed the moment it made contact with your body. Who exactly or what are you? No human has such powers as you has displayed. And you're far too strong. You clearly are not a Kryptonian. I could tell that at least. Normally I would never grant such a request, but because you gave me such a good fight, Mongol, I'll let you on a little secret. I'm no human, nor am I a Kryptonian. I'm an old god, a very powerful old god. You were just fortunate you battled me in this state. I haven't reached the peak of my evolution just yet, at least. But fighting you has brought me closer to my next evolution. That's neither here or there. I am quite impressed that you managed to get to Earth in such a short time. Explain. Our world has wormhole technology. We cut our travel time pretty much in half, if not all the way. It's a very temperamental, experimental technology. In other words, you can create artificial wormholes. Exactly. Quite impressive tech you have there, Mongol. Most likely you took it from a conqueror alien species that you attacked. I don't fault you for that. It's your nature, Mongol. Suddenly, Mongol was encased in some sort of crystal. He barely had enough control over his arms to smash his fist into the structure, only to see not even a crack showed up on the crystal, trapping him inside. What the hell's going on? It's quite simple. I'm done with this battle, Mongol. I'm done with you. I have other business to attend to. I only challenge you to test out some of my abilities. After all, you are the most strongest person I've came across in a battle yet. But no need to worry. I have no intention of killing you. As much as I would love to run you through with Void, there are rules I must follow. I've seen glimpses of possible futures. That refers to you as your fate. You will die. There's no way around that. But your fate is not in my hands. Your fate is connected to another. Goodbye, Mongol. As Mongol was shot off into the distance, flying out of the Milky Way galaxy with incredible speed. When Mongol finally disappeared, Deku extended his hand outwards. As he started to float up, as green and purple electricity emanate from his body, as you can see a slight, extremely bright glow in his green eye, staring upon Warworld that's currently above him. A very small marble-sized, swirling energy orb that's the color of green and purple appeared above Deku's palm as it floats up to Warworld. Suddenly there's a big flash, and when the flash receded, there was nothing left of Warworld. Nothing but looked like ash floating in space. Justice League is still in its infancy, so they haven't established a space station. So it hasn't been constructed just yet, so the League was unaware of the danger that Mongol posed upon them in their planet. Luckily for them, Deku has already handled the situation before the League could be defied. Now, where is that lantern hiding? I see. They're on Earth. Deku disappeared in a flash of green and purple light, then reappeared on top of the skyscraper on Earth. The very building he's standing upon is LexCorp itself. Deku turned his head to the side, feeling several yellow lanterns, signatures, from the power of their power ring that generates from their power, well, basically the energy single of the power ring that gives off. There you are. Deku followed the power signature of the yellow lanterns to a swamp-like area, as the single seems to be inside a humongous dome with several other life signatures inside it. Deku flew down to the ground and phased right through the entrance of the structure. That is the Legion of Doom headquarters. He followed the signatures to some sort of meeting hall, with several humans are all sitting on some sort of chairs, all discussing their next plan to take out the Justice League. Until all the villains noticed the new arrival that just stepped in the middle of the room. Deku stepped into the middle of the room as all of the people just noticed him. Deku completely ignored everyone inside the room and started gazing around, checking his surroundings, not even giving him a glance. Completely irritating Lex. He doesn't know who this kid is that just showed up out of nowhere. With a very interesting structure, quite impressive for mere humans. I see a few familiar faces. Deku spot Grundy, Killer Croc, Bane, and there's a few other faces I haven't had the pleasure to meet. Deku glanced at Sinestro and several of his fellow lanterns standing right behind him. Deku gave Sinestro a very disturbing smirk as he turned his attention towards the approaching human with a bald head wearing a suit. I don't know who you are or how you located the base of the Legion of Doom. Are you some sort of new Justice League member? They have been branching out recently. Justice League, I've never heard of it. I don't even know what that is, human. Luthor pondered for a second. Luthor's inner thoughts. He doesn't seem to be aware of the Justice League. There's a possibility he's not aligned with Superman. Maybe I could use this to my advantage. And the other villains from Gotham seem to know him somehow. I'll have to have a long conversation with them after this meeting concluded. Allow me to properly introduce myself. I am Lex Luthor. And you are? You may refer me as Deku, human. May I ask why you're here? If you're not in league with the rest of the heroes, you must have some other reason for being here. Deku's inner thoughts. This human is dangerous. I could sense he's highly intelligent. Not dangerous to me, of course. But that doesn't negate his danger level that this human is. I'll play along for now. Let's see where this goes. Well, Lex, I originally came here for those lot. As Deku pointed his index fingers at Sinestro with the rest of his lantern, with his rest of his lantern corps that came to Earth. I was just going to play with a few of the yellow lanterns, killing probably most of them, but leaving Sinestro alive, of course. Killing him would cause too much problems for me. I won't go into the details. None of you would even comprehend the responsibilities I had to hold sooner or later. So, this is the Legion of Doom. So, what is this Legion of Doom? Some sort of league of villains? Most likely main goal is probably going after this Justice League. Unfortunately, not allow you to engage in any violence towards Sinestro and his lanterns. If I wanted to dance with the yellow lanterns, none of you could stop me in the first place. You are powerful enough to defeat me. Many of your heavy hitters wasn't able to stop me. And when they fought me, I was weaker then. I'm far more capable, powerful than I was prior. Isn't that right, Grundy, Bane, and Lizard? But I'm also curious how well this Justice League operates. So, I'm gonna see how this plays out. See who will win, the Legion of Doom or the Justice League. So, I decided I won't interfere with you lot here. I'll just simply sit back and watch the show. But don't think you're off the hook, Sinestro. I do want to gauge your power in a more personal setting, but I can wait. Not affected by the passage of time, as Deku floated up above and sat down on one of the empty chairs, and rests his 2 feet on the table as a bag of cotton candy just materialized in his hands. Don't mind me. Continue your little meeting you have there. Just ignore like I'm not even here. That's where we're gonna stop it. Hope you guys have a good night and day, judging by time zones. And I'll catch you in the next video.